securities, insurance, management leadership. That's under business ventures. And under business roles, we're going to do professionalism and ethics, team and conflict management and creativity. Remember, we must do 2 topics when we go back to school. We must do forms of ownership and presentation of business information under ventures. And under roles, we must do social responsibility, and we must do human rights, inclusivity and environmental. We need to do that. So come on school, since we are working out a full question paper 2, this is your time to engage with us, okay? I want to see more schools participating in the section over there. So use your microphone if you can. If not, use the chat, whichever one is comfortable. And then we are going to answer the questions, okay? We're busy with section A. Various options are provided as possible answers to the following questions. Choose the answers and only write down the letter next to the question numbers in the answer book. For example, 1.1.6D. Okay. So let us see. You got the booklet. School start engaging with me. 1.1.1. Workers with a low morale can be inspired by the insight or personality of Mr. Jacobs, and autocracy says 1.D. Charismatic leaders, let's see. I agree with you. Workers with a low morale can be inspired by the insight and personality of charismatic leaders. If your leader is charismatic, so you'll be inspired. Mr. Bosso also had D. Thank you. Question 1.1.2. No, sorry. Question 1.1.2, guys, you will see there's a big X. This means that this question is not in the exam guidelines for 2021, okay? It's not in the guidelines for 2021, so therefore there's a big X over there. Okay, please, when you're working out past question papers, make sure that the work that you're doing is the right work, alright? Salon ran his employees' claim from the fund during the COVID lockdown. We have Mr. Jacobs saying 1.1.3. We have Mrs. Maddox saying 1.1.3 is A. So let's see. Oh, I also said it's A. And we have Mr. Bosso that says the answer is Nadab. From PQ says it's A. It is. Employees claim the money from the unemployment insurance fund during level 5 in the lockdown, and now in the moment that we are on level 4, we can again claim from that fund. Collaboration means that team members are C. Joseph February 1.1.4C, Mr. Jacobs, autocracy. Dawn Hendricks Fluent Play says it's 1.1.4. Mr. Bosso 1.1.4 is C. You guys are doing well. It is indeed C. And 1.1.5, the principle of the King Code, where there must be regular communication between management and the stakeholders, is referred. Oh, here we have different answers. Mr. Adams says it's 1.5B. Many says it's 1.5A. 1.1.5A, Dawn Hendricks. Mrs. Malik says it's 1.1.5A. Okay, let's read the question. The principle of kin code, where there must be regular communication between the management and the stakeholder, is that transparency? Is it accountability? Is it responsibility? Or is it discipline? We have a mixed bag of answers, so here we must see. My answer is B. So I got accountability and many people's got A. Let me just recheck the memo and see. The 1.5, the answer is accountability. Let us just unpack this question. The principle of kin code, where there must be regular communication between management and stakeholders. Your regular communication, your management, for example, is the board of directors. Your stakeholders is in your investors. You must be accountable for all the decisions that you're making. If you decide there should be, for example, transparency is when we disclose information. We are not talking here much more than disclosing information. A means I'm going to show you my financial statements. That is transparent. I might be able to show you my receipts, show you my invoices. Accountability means I need to take responsibility for the decisions that I make. So when the board of directors decide we are not declaring a dividend, they must be able to be accountable towards the shareholders, and they must be able to explain it. So that is where the accountability comes in. Okay? And this is one of those questions where the distracting answer is, could have been so right. You can make a case of the answer being transparency or being accountability, but accountability is the more correct answer, okay? 1.2, complete the following statements provided in the list below. Write only the words next to the question number in the answer questions, in the answer book. And remember, there's 10 possible words, 2 possible options for each question. So there's discrimination, which will go with inclusivity. Nominal group and empty chairs, creativities. Dividends will go with capital gain, that's investments. Subrogation will go with excess, and conflict will go with grievances. So that is a difficult one. Schools, let's start. Mr. Adams says it's excess. I'll read the question. The portion of an insurance claim that Donald traders must pay when the business lodges a claim is referred to as. Mr. Bossa says excess capuccio. Dawn Hendricks says 1.2.1 is a grievance. Okay. The answer is indeed excess. Guys, we are talking about an insurance claim, and that's why the answer is excess. Your grievance will come into being when we talk about conflict, okay? A grievance is when you have a problem with your employee being unfair, then you will lodge a grievance. Okay, 1.2.2. Parlour bought shares at 10 Rand each from Caller Mobile 2 years ago. The shares are now worth 20 Rand. The return on the investment is called. I got Mr. Adams saying it's a dividend, Harold Cressy it's a dividend, Mr. Boston McKay says it's capital gain. So is it capital gain or is it dividends? Joseph February says it's capital gain. No, says it's It's capital gain. The answer indeed is it's capital gain. Now let us just explain. When Parliament bought the shares and a dividend is declared, a dividend is part of the profit. So if I have 10 Rand a share, I'm going to have perhaps 10 cents on that 10 Rand. I'm going to receive as a dividend. And dividend is normally declared twice a year. You get an interim dividend, which is a small part of the dividend. It's normally the first 6 months of the year. And then 6 months later, we will get a final dividend, which is normally more. This is capital gain. My shares was 10 Rand. Now the value of my share has gone up to 20 Rand. So that is capital gain. It's like, normally we use the word capital gain, especially in property. If I bought a house, and I bought the house at a million Rand, and I keep onto the house and I maintain the house, then after 5 years, the house that I bought for R1 million is maybe worth 2 million Rand. So the capital gain is how much did the value of the house increase for the time period that I had it. Yeah, but Mr. A. Adams says, doesn't capital gain refer to the return on property? It refers to the return on all assets. If you are buying shares as an investment, so capital gain is also how much did that grow. Remember, a dividend is profits that's being declared for companies. That is a dividend. Okay? What technique provides managers time to think about the question in silence before responding? What techniques provides managers to think about the question in silence before responding? It's, R.M. from Tanakulu says it's the empty chair, and Mr. Adams says it's the nominal group technique. It is indeed the nominal group technique. Normally, Tanakulu, the empty chair is when you are absolutely alone, there's no one around you. You are interacting a situation. I want to tell a colleague of mine something, and I'm scared to say it face to face, so I say it to the empty chair, almost as a way of venting. Okay, because in a professional setup, we just cannot say to our colleagues and our managers what we want to say, okay? Lunga can lodge A when he disagree with the resolution taken by senior management. Ashton says it's a grievance from Peakview. Mr. February says it's a grievance. And I say it's a grievance as well. Well done. At least the memo says that. Employing people from different backgrounds is known as, Mr. Adams says it's inclusivity. Okay, since Mr. Adams is the only one talking to us, Kandakulu says it's inclusivity as well, and so does Harold Cressy, and so do I. Okay, that was excellent. Thank you, schools, for being so interactive. Here we're going to have, choose a description from column A that matches a term in column B. Write only the letter next to the question number. Remember there's 10 options, 2 per concept. So let's see what will be what. Give me what is leadership. There's liquidity, there's reinstatement, there's decision making, and there's storming. Mr. Jacob Darrell Tracy, Mr. Adams says 1.3.1 is I. So let's see what is leadership. Leadership is 1.3.1 is I, and leadership is inspire staff to trust and support each other. Well done. So what is liquidity? liquidity in the context of, Harold Cressy says 1.3.2 is J. In the context of investment. Tandakulu says it's G. Joseph February says it's J. Mr. Bossa Nadava says it's G. So I'm looking here between a lot of G's and J's coming up. So let's see what is liquidity. It says, G says assets are sold to pay creditors due to a lack of capital or a cash flow problems. Assets are sold to pay creditors due to a lack of capital or a cash flow problem. That sounds to me more like divestiture. And in the concept of investment, assets or security can quickly be bought or sold and can easily be converted into cash. Remember, we are busy here with investments, we are busy with business venture, so the context of liquidity is a different context, okay? What is reinstatement? Anybody out there, what is reinstatement? 1.3.3 is H. 1.3.3 is H. Let's see, I got a lot of H's coming up. Thunder Coley, Harold Cressy. So it is a lot of the H's. Let's see, what did I have? Oops. I also have H is applicable when property or goods are over-insured. 1.3.4 is decision making. So what is decision making? Mr. Jacobs, Harold Cressy says it's F. And Tandakulu also says it's F. And I also say it's F. Alternatives are considered before choosing the best one. That is so true. What is storming? What is storming? I got A from Peak View. Tandakolu is A. Quite a few bits of A's coming up. Employees open up to each other and confront each other's ideas. The word storming means there is conflict, so we are confronting each other, so that is A. Schools, well done on answering section A. You've been amazing and you've been just so interactive. We're now moving on and we're going to be answering our question 2. Yes, more questions in section 2 than in question 3. Read the instructions for each question carefully and take particular note of what is required. Note that only the first 2 questions in section B will be marked. Except where other instructions are given, you know the story, please write in full sentences. I actually answered the first one here for you. State any 2 factors that should be considered when making investment decisions. Now, I actually didn't highlight this. When I say state or give, it's 1 mark per fact, okay? State or give is 1 mark per fact. Because there is a number in the question, I say 2 facts, we will only mark the first 2. Even if you give much more, we will only mark the first 2. Schools, here's an opportunity for you to engage me. Please see if you will write, if you can guess the answers. Mapilo ensures that employees are requested to give inputs during planning session. What type of leadership style is that, would you say? Schools, let's see if Mr. Bossa says democratic, Mr. Bosser. You see, there's Gideon at Peakview says, so is there anybody else? Only Mr. Bosser, let's see. There was the microphone. And it's indeed democratic. 2.2.2. Employees are allowed to make their own decisions as long as they do not violate the company's policies. What would we say that is? I got Mr. Adams that says it's autocratic. Mr. Jacobs autocratic. Malik says it's laissez-faire. The Java says it's transactional. Oh, here is so much answers coming through over here. Employees are allowed to make their own decisions as long as they do not violate the company's rules. So what is happening here? We have a lot of different answers, and my answer is laissez-faire. Why is it laissez-faire? Laissez-faire is when we have a management system the laissez-faire employees are allowed to make their own decisions as long as they do not violate the company's policy. Now, laissez-faire says, it's a management style that says, the manager says you are allowed, like this is the project, you run with the project. So long you follow the protocols of the company and you're in line with the code of conduct, you are allowed to make your own decisions, okay? So that is why it's that answer. Employees 2.2.3 are rewarded for meeting their targets and punished for not meeting their deadlines. Mr. Adams says it's a transactional leadership style. Mr. Adams, I agree with you, it's transactional because the word here or the clue over here is the word rewarded. You are rewarded for your good behavior. So it is indeed transactional. Thank you. Let's see if we can answer this. Read the scenario below and answer the question as follows. Ms. Zimazi bought a business property worth 500,000 rand and insured it for 200,000. A fire destroyed part of the property. Now, name the insurance clause. My clue here, Mr. Jacob says under insurance. Mr. Jacob, take note of the word clause. That is applicable to the scenario below. What insurance term do you know that has the word clause in? It's got to do, yes, Joseph February says it's average clause, and Mr. Adams, it's the average clause. I know under average clause we talk about under insurance, but the correct principle involved here is the average clause, okay? Just take notes of that. Let's see, can anybody give me the final answer for 2.3.2? 2.3.2, can we get perhaps a final answer there? While you are busy answering the work, if your final answer is right, you will get 20, if your final answer is right, you will get all 4 marks. If your workings is correct, but the final answer is wrong, you will get a maximum of 2 marks. If the answer is incorrect, you will get a maximum of 1 mark for understanding the concept. Let's see if anybody can give me an answer over here. Is the grade 12? This question will come in the exams, I promise you. So this is your bonus 6 marks for the exams, okay? This is your bonus 6 marks for the exams. So let us see. Oh, no response. Oh, there is one. Kapushe says 20,000 and Kandakolu says 20,000. I also got 20,000. Let me show you. This is my formula, and you should know the formula, okay? It's the amount insured over the value of the insured item times the damage or the loss. Grade 12, you should know this formula, because once you know the formula, it's easy to populate. What is the amount insured for, and how to know the value of the item? The business property is worth 500, but is insured for 200,000. So this is for where the underinsurance is only 200,000 of the property is insured, and it is underinsured by 300,000. So we cannot expect, if there is a fire of 50,000 is damage to the property, that we get 50,000 rand from the insurance company as compensation. They will compensate us in the same proportion that we are insured. So your answer is 20,000 rand. We need to explain 2 types of preference shares. 2 types, we're only going to be marking the first 2. You need to name the preference share, and then you need to explain it. Okay, so you must identify it for 2 marks and the explanation for 1. So participating pref shares, I will get 2 marks for saying that, and I get 1 mark to explain what it is. So shareholders are guaranteed a minimum fixed dividends. So shareholders are guaranteed a minimum fixed dividends. My second one is non-participating pref shares. Shareholders receive an amount equal to the initial investment plus accrued and unpaid dividends upon liquidation. So non-participating, right, here's a comment coming through, let me just. Okay, my learner wants to know if business will get paid out by the insurance company after being looted and destroyed. Thank you for the question. Shoplifting is a non-insurable risk. The insurance does not cover when customers come into the shop and steal from the business. So looting falls a part of, it's almost like shoplifting when someone come in and steal from you. So that, in South African context, this is a high risk, and no insurance company will pay you out for that type of risk. So the answer will be no. So I don't know when the walls are gutted and if you can make a claim for fire insurance against arson perhaps. I don't know how the context of that works, but if it's stock that's being stolen, you will not get the money to recover the stock. The business owner must absorb that loss, unfortunately. So that is why I said earlier that businesses have a lot of loss to absorb. Discuss the importance of insurance to a business. Split marking, we got that. We done that. We know what is expected. To state our point, it is 6 marks, so we must provide 3 facts. Mr. Adams says it transfers the risk from the business to the insurer. Indeed, it does, so I wrote exactly the same thing, transfer the risk from the business to the insurance, to the insured. But this risk is subject to the terms of and conditions of the insurance contract. Okay, so you must remember the insurance company is a business, and their business is also to make a service. Yes, we are shifting the risk from the insuree to the insured, but it's done only in specific conditions. Protects the business against theft or loss of stock, or damages caused by natural disasters such as flood or storm damages. So, yes. Read the scenario below and answer the question. You know, I like this question, I said, because often in these cases we can score a mark or two. Lynette inherited 50,000 rand from a late mother's estate. She decided to invest the money in a fixed deposit at Safe Bank at 12%, compounded interest per annum for 2 years. The question actually asks, define a fixed deposit as a type of investment. Mr. Adams says it's a method to invest at a fixed rate for a fixed period. Exactly, Mr. Adams, it is a method of a fixed rate for a fixed period. Just to get that second mark, sir, you need to say it's at a financial institution, okay? That we are making this fixed deposit. You see, this is a classic case of that split marking, then that second mark comes into context. Ma'am, can you go back to 2.5? Okay, I got a question to go back to 2.5 that I'm moving too fast, okay. Basically, in 2.5 we were talking about the transfer of the risk from the business to the insurance company. I also just need to say to you, I'm not teaching content today. Today we are going over exam techniques. All this work was covered and it's in the core book and you did it at school. We are just showing you how to answer the questions, okay? But I will go back for you. All that we are just saying that the importance of it, when we are transferring the risk to the insurance company, there is terms and conditions. Some of the terms and conditions, there is the insurance company only will pay under certain circumstances. There's the principles of utmost good faith. You must disclose all the information. It must be insurable risks and that. But here are some cases when it is important to have insurance. It is important when there is theft of loss, natural disasters. That are two very important when we can. Remember, this is not all the answers. This is only the first three. It could have been a partner, the importance of a partner, taking out life policy for the other partners in the business. It could be a debtor against a creditor. Let's see what is a fixed deposit. We answered that question already. Calculate the amount of interest that Lynette will receive after 2 years. We are talking here about compound interest. And for today's lesson, I'm not teaching compound interest. We did that in the online schooling before this. I'm just going to show you the options and the different methods, because otherwise I will not get to the end of today's PowerPoint. If you're not sure, please ask your teacher at school how we came to this answer for today. I'm just showing you here, there are two methods, and in the exams, in your memo, we would cater for both answers. We would cater for the one where you use the mathematical formula. Even if you do the formula that you did in your maths or maths lit class and the answer is 12720, you will still get the marks. Okay? Remember, we are focusing on exam technique. I didn't highlight this cognitive verb, which is suggest. But this time we all know suggest means double ticks. And we need to provide 4 facts because it's 80 marks. Let's see. When will an autocratic leadership style work? When do we need a boss that will tell us what to do and when to do it? Number 1, in a crisis situation. Example, in the case of unforeseen challenges or accidents. Mr. Bossa, can you please go back to 2.6.2? Okay, let me see. I have a question. I'm just going to state, okay. Guys, we got the business roles to go through as well. We're busy with benches and the essay. Let me then explain to you today's lesson. I can't spend a lot of time on compound interest. All that I need to say, you either need to know your formula. The P would stand for your principal amount times 1 plus R. R is the rate of interest, and the N will be the time period that we are going to be having for this investment. So it is 50,000 over here. It is always easier over here to convert a fraction. It is always just easier to convert a fraction. 12 over 100 becomes 0.12 plus the 1 over there. And then we work out our sum over there. And your final answer should be 12.720. But if you worked it out using the old method, then you say 5,000 times 12% for the year is 6,000. If you add the 6,000 to the 50,000, you get 56,000 times 12%, which is 6,720. And when you add the 2 years together, you should get to the same answer of 12,720. I'm sorry if it seems as if I'm rushing. It is just that it suddenly just feels that the sessions are such a lot of work in. Because in the previous session we had 1 topic and now we're doing 2. I was going to say, suggest a situation where autocratic leadership style can be applied. Now, in a crisis situation, for example, there's a fire. If there's a fire, management can't call the board of directors or the HO, the senior management team to ask, must we evacuate the building? Immediately that decision has to be taken to do so, okay? When all the information is available to solve the problem, when you have all the information you have, and you need to solve a problem now, then it's okay to be autocratic and just to make that decisions. In emergencies, where there is a shortage of time, you are often needed to make that decision immediately. And then lastly, when employees are motivated and the leader has already earned the trust of the followers. When you're working for a company for a long time and you are motivated, then you can make that decision. Aha. Question 4. Do you want to call in your answers for question 4? We're still busy with business ventures. It's a identify the type of investment that was used by GG engineers in each statement. GG engineers invested a minimum of 1,000 Rand at a fixed rate to the fund with a guaranteed return, no risk attached. It's an RSA retail bond savings. Mr. Adams, I agree with you. GG engineers invested in a combination of different shares and securities managed by a fund manager. It is, Joseph February says, is unit trust. That is the right answer, sir. Outline the functions of the JSE. The double tick, provide 2 facts. In the core book you will see there's many facts. Check the 2 that's the easiest to remember. Number 1, Mr. Adams says it serves as an indicator of the economic condition in the country. I also got that one for 2 marks. And it gives opportunities to financial institutions such as insurance companies to invest their funds in shares. Okay, so here we got to take the 2 easiest ones, okay? For this section, because we're doing 2 topics, I need to get through 2 essays, okay? So that is why I'm trying to do this very quickly. Discuss the following principles of insurance, indemnification and security. What is the difference? This is a very important question over there because sometimes we confuse indemnification and security. Now, indemnification usually applies in short-term insurance as the insurance is compensated for a specified proven harm or loss. And it protects the insured against an event that may occur. So this is the event that may occur as part of a short-term insurance. For example, I have a question to go back to 4.1.2. As I explained, I can't go back. I'm doing 2 essays in this session, so the content for this session is quite a bit. The question for 4.1.2 was, when you have different shares, and the fund managers operating it, it will be unit trust. So over here, if I have car insurance for, fire damage to my car or a motor vehicle accident, it may never happen. I can pay insurance on my car and it never happens. But what happens, so it's a specified event that may occur, okay? It can also not occur. Security, on the other one, applies to long-term insurance. And when it comes to long-term insurance, we're looking at life insurance. So here is a predetermined amount will be paid out when the insurance reaches a predetermined age. For example, if I have a retirement annuity, when I turn 65, my retirement annuity will pay out. So when you reach the age of 65, it will pay out. So it's a predetermined amount at a predetermined age. Okay, it's a predetermined amount at a predetermined age. What about if you get injured due to a predetermined event? A lot of people have disability insurance. So even events where you lose a limb. A limb means you lose your arm, you lose your leg. The insurance will pay out in that particular situation. And this is section C. I'm not going to go through this. We spoke about this earlier. Successful business believes that leadership and management forms an integral part of their success. Others argue that management plays a more important role than leadership in the success of the business. So the question, this is a statement given to you. Who is more important in the business? Is it management? Is it leaders? Is it both of them? Is it... So you are not allowed to rewrite this statement as part of the introduction or conclusion. I said that. So given that, let's see what will we do here. Bullet 1. Give two differences between leadership and management. Discuss the situational and transformational leadership theories. Evaluate the impact of autocratic and transactional leadership and suggest situations in which each leadership style can be used. That is, when can you use autocratic and when can you use transactional. Write down the word introduction. We told you that. So here is my two possible sentences. Good leaders can also be good managers, as both can inspire your people and bring about change. There is not a reason why your manager can't be inspiring. Leaders and managers can create opportunities, motivate people to be productive, which lead to successful businesses. Guys, you can use any other form of introduction. You could define what is leader, you could define what is management, you could define the advantages of good leadership or good management. You know how the flowers will work. We did this twice today already. So you know that. Keep two differences between leadership and management. They are very specific. They're telling you they want to. Remember, only the first two differences will be marked. So leadership. Okay, let me just read the question here. Miss, I do have a question regarding originality. Can we give an example of the leader the essay wants? Oh, absolutely you can, sir. So, for leadership will influence human behavior. For example, they say Bill Gates is a transactional leader. But Mr. Adams, you need to motivate it and tell me why is Bill Gates a transactional leader. It's not enough to tell me he's a transactional leader. You must tell me why he is that. Because someone could easily say, Bill, Please just extend that sentence for me. I will wait for you. Management guides human behavior. Leadership encourages new ideas to increase productivity and administer tasks to reach targets. You with leadership and management, you need to make a case for both. For example, under management, you could get a manager, so you could say, Mr. H, which is my supervisor, works strictly according to deadlines and protocols being followed. But then you get a leader where I can say, my manager inspires me to be creative because it gives me the freedom to make my own decisions. So there's an example. Mr. Adams must tell me why I think Bill Gates is transformational business leader. I can give you the example of Sir Richard Branson, which is regarded as a very charismatic business leader because he gets the best out in people. He's gone on record for saying the employees is the most important asset of the business. Situational leadership. It is split marking, so I'm saying different leadership characteristics are needed in different situations. And here I carry on further to say that the situation will dictate the type of leadership that we have. In a case of emergency, we need to be autocratic. In a case of that we have the time, we can be more democratic. Transformational leadership. Transformational means there's change happening. We need to change people's mindset and show leadership. It's suitable for a dynamic environment where change could be drastic, where drastic change is called for. I think, if you look at Cyril Ramaphosa, you could use an example of him being very transformational in the time of the pandemic to bring about changes, encouraging people to wear masks, encouraging people to keep social distances, encouraging people to do the right thing to stay alive. You must remember it was a dynamic situation. The change was drastic when we went into our first lockdown. And so the personality of our leader inspires the people that we follow in him to do the things he wanted us to do. I think that is such a brilliant example of transformational leadership. Evaluate the impact of autocratic and transactional leadership. Now, autocratic, remember, we're not asked to define it. Once again, you can talk negative or positive. I chose to keep mine positive. It's just easier to mark. I actually didn't show the second tick here. There should be quick decisions can be taken for my first mark. Without consulting employees will be my second mark. And in the second bullet, there should be work gets 1 mark and done on time. So you see, it's quick and short. It's almost 2 o'clock and I still need to do rolls, so I'm just rushing it a bit, okay? Suggest a situation in which each leadership style can be applied. When do we use autocratic? When do we use transformational? So, in a crisis situation, we will use autocratic leadership because they're asking us when it can be used, when all the information is available, then we will use it. This is almost very similar to discussing when it is. This is actually very repetitive marks here. So just situations in which we can use transformational leadership. When we want to maximize employees' performance. Transactional leadership, if I want something from you, if you work over, like for example, overtime for me is always an example of maximizing employees' performance. If you work longer hours to get the job done, I will pay you more money. But it's also a different reward. It could be a reward in the sense of if we get this job done on time, we're going to leave an hour earlier. So that could be an example to maximize performance. When deadlines have to be met on short notice. Workers' morale is very low. Sometimes when everybody's in a bad space, I've already worked at schools and we were busy with exam deadlines, and management decided to buy us lunch so that we can all work later. So when everybody's down and not feeling good, that will improve your morale. And the layout, we're not going to be deep, that one, and the conclusion. Okay guys, we have a half an hour. I just want to go through the business roles with you, and that is why this morning in the first two sessions we only did one topic. But in this particular sessions we are doing two topics, and that's why you would feel a little bit rushed. Okay, this is your opportunity in this section to answer a question. Tell me in each case below whether it's an unethical or is it an unprofessional business practice. Ethics has got to do with what is right or wrong, and professionalism has got to do with the way you conduct yourself. The cell is representative of Queen holding plays computer games during working hours. Are you being unprofessional or are you being unethical? Mr. Adams says you're being unprofessional. Why? This is your work context, and in your work context you need to conduct yourself in a certain way. So indeed, sir, you are unprofessional, and so did Ms. One Zemo says it's unprofessional. Oh, Power Wheels advertise second-hand tires as new. Mia says it's unethical at Peak View. Mr. Adams says it's unethical. Okay, do you see that nicely we distinguish between what is unprofessional and what is unethical? Read the scenario below and answer the questions. Woozy is the human resource manager of Ikaya Business Safaris. Take Judy and Simon are waiters. Woozy dislikes Simon and treats him differently from the two female employees. He seldom meets with his employees to give feedback. Simon is unhappy and intends to quit his job. Schools, let's see if you can answer what is the conflict in the situation. Do not write your own answer. Quote from the case study. What is the causes of conflict over here? I don't have got to answer because it's a long answer, so I will give it to you. Woozy dislikes Simon and treats him differently from the two female employees. This is not a time for you to want to rewrite the story. This is not to say you can't answer Woozy is treating the females differently from the men, or Woozy is discriminating against the female employees. No, you are just to quote from the case study. He seldomly meets with his employees to give feedback. Okay, so you keep your answers to the point. Now you are asked to advise Woozy advise Woozy on how they should handle conflict in the workplace. Advise double ticks. Remember, all of this content is in the core book and you did it in class. We are just going through exam techniques here. Advise double ticks. So let's see. Acknowledge that there is conflict in the workplace. Identify the causes of the conflict. Pre-negotiations may be arranged where workers will be allowed to state their case separately. A time and a place is arranged for negotiations where all employees are involved. Take note, it's 8 marks. So we are looking at 4 facts. I didn't say that. 8 marks, 4 facts. Explain the implication of quality, dignity and business. Actually, this question over here, we're only going to do in term 3. But I put it in here. Businesses should treat all the employees equally regardless of their race, color and age. Ignore 4.6 because this we'll do in term 3 only. And here, I've actually come to my essay, which is so important and which I really wanted to spend a little bit more time on. This essay takes me back to grade 10. This is one of my favorite essays in business roles. In paper 2, we have learners that love the business venture section. They like the insurance and the investments and business presentation and the form of ownership. Then there is another group of learners that likes the business roles, and the business roles is quite intense. But it is, some people just love that type of concepts where we will do, for this term we're doing social responsibility and human rights, inclusivity and environmental affairs. That is still to be done. Creativity we did, team building we did, and we did professionalism and ethics. So you could have had an essay on creativity, you could have had an essay on creativity, and the other one I said was ethics and responsibility. Effective teamwork depends on a group of diverse people with different knowledges and skills. Some workers find it difficult to tolerate others, which results in conflict. Business invests in team building programs to achieve its goals and objectives. Business invests in team building programs to achieve its goals and objectives. As a team development consultant, write an essay on the following. Explain 4 stages of team development. They explain explain means 4 stages that you need to explain. Discuss the characteristics of successful teams. Describe the causes of conflict that arise in the workplace, and advise businesses on how they should handle conflict in the workplace. So all the cognitive verbs is in pink. You know the story here, we discussed that. Take note that we are on slide 52, so this section of the work had many more slides. Teamwork refers to a number of people working together effectively in order to reach a common goal. Teamwork refers to a number of people working together in order to reach a common goal, and successful teams go through different stages of team development in order to become successful. So successful teams go through different stages of team development to become successful. So let's see how we can answer this. So it's 4 stages. So you need to name the 4 stages and then you need to explain it. So you can see already this is 4, 8, 12, 16 marks. This is actually going to be a little bit more marks. The first stage is forming. And forming is going to be individuals gather impressions about each other and the scope of how to approach it. Take notes how I get to my second mark, okay? Then I have my storming stage. In my storming stage, teams go through a period of conflict after formation. Do you remember when we get together, we like each other, we're nice? During the storming stage, there is a period of conflict. Norming stage, team members forms agreement and consensus. And then your performing stage, work as a team towards a common goal. So for this particular one, we could have scored a lot of marks, okay? Discuss the characteristics of a successful team. Once again, it's split marking. So you need to write the two facts. Successful teams share a common goal. As team members are part of the process of setting goals for the group. So a successful team share a common goal. Share a set of team values and implement group decisions. Teams value the contribution of individual members and reach consensus of differences. And there is a climate of trust and honesty, okay? And you need to write 4 facts. It is very important that in team building, and you think of how can we bring in originality here. You could have brought originality in at the different stages. Or here, we need, say for example, I actually hereby share a set of team values and implement group decisions. I would say, for example, it could be a teachers, a grade group. At the grade 11, teachers all value punctuality and meeting of deadlines, and this helps with group decisions or getting a common goal for the group. If you value, all of you value meeting deadlines, being punctual, it just makes it easier to make group decisions if we are valuing the same things. Oh, this is the most interesting question. What causes conflict in the workplace? So you need to describe what causes conflict in the workplace, and it's so easy to get 4 facts over here. Let's see. Oh, number 1, lack of proper communication. Where is this communication not happening? It is not happening between management and workers. So there is a lack of proper communication between management and workers. There is the ignoring of rules. If you ignore the rules, it may result in disagreement and conflict at work. For example, if there's someone that comes late every day, you are going to agitate your colleagues and it's going to cause disagreements. Management or workers may have different personalities and backgrounds. So here would have been a beautiful example. At Vodacom, where there is a diverse workforce, there may be causes for conflict. Different values of managers and workers. What happens, what management value is not the same values that the employees value. Management obviously want to get deadlines. They want to, they're driven to get things, to meet deadlines where maybe your employees are driven for job satisfaction. And that can cause conflict as well. You need the learners, sorry, let me just see, Mr. Adams, sorry I didn't get your full question. The learners find it difficult to get originality here. Yes, it is difficult with conflict to get originality in maybe in current affairs, but look like the first example of lack of proper communication between management and workers. For example, if there's a rumor that a company is going to be retrenching workers, but this has not been communicated to workers, that breakdown in communication could lead to a problem between managers and workers. So when it's difficult to get an original example, I always say refer to a company and to use it in the context of a company. So you'll say Romatex wants to retrench staff and management have not informed the workers. They heard through the grapevine, so the workers are conflicted. Like with the ignoring of rules. For example, and this is a real case scenario where in many places colleagues that do not wear masks can cause conflict in the workplace with colleagues that that has comorbidities and are worried about their safety. So when people ignore the rules, there will be disagreements. And so especially the one of mask wearing is a big one, of people that don't keep social distancing at work. So if you're in the staff room and the person is all around you, it will cause conflict. And sometimes the learner just need to be able to put themselves in a situation and talk to an example. And it becomes easier when we talk about originality in every lesson. Teachers, as we engage our learners, you ask them, what about this when do you think conflict will take place in the workplace? And the learners will give you scenarios that are sometimes so spot on and just so relevant. Okay, let me just see. Remember that the scribe is split marking, I said, and it's a 4 facts. Advice. EBS on how they should handle conflicts. Okay. Advise, it's my double tick system. So, acknowledge there is conflict in the workplace. Everybody can feel the tension in the workplace. Do not ignore the situation, and here you can bring, once again, you can bring a scenario into place and says, you could say like in Woozy and Simon's case, when management ignore there is conflict in the workplace, or I will give a very direct example and say, at Mandy Limited, the management ignored that women are being treated different to men. And management needs to acknowledge that there is conflict. Identify the cause of the conflict. In any situation, we can unpack why there is cause in the conflict. Pre-negotiations may be arranged where workers will be allowed to state their cases separately. All the workers have a need to explain why they feel they're being disrespected or disregarded in the workplace. So you need to state that, and in stating that, You need to be able to give a safe space for you to say this. And a time and a place are arranged for negotiations where all employees involved are present. And for facts, I have noticed a trend with my bullets. The first 3 bullets will always be discuss, explain, often elaborate, but the last bullet is always a double tick bullet that says suggest, advise, recommend. So if we know this, then it gives us, when we analyze papers, it gives us the ability to, when we are, as learners, when we are answering questions, we almost anticipate what is going to be asked in the 4th bullet. And by anticipating this, we know how to answer the question, and this makes us immensely, it makes us, this is going to benefit us because this empowers us. And this is what I liked about today's lesson as well. Remember, conclusion is my one fact, and this is just one very strong conclusive remark that we make. Not more than one sentence, please, grade 12s. Please do not quote. Please do not quote from the case study. It is not necessary. The success of a business depends on the successful collaboration within a team to ensure that the objectives of the business will be met. So the success of the business depends on the successful collaboration. Successful collaboration is how do we work together within a team to ensure that the objectives of the business will be met. Here is a message. Let me see, just give me a second to see where the message is from. The session was amazing. Hope to see you again next time, and God bless you. I unfortunately couldn't read from where that message came from. Sorry, I read the message, but I couldn't see the name. Slide number 59. Remember, all that I want to say on this, remember there's layout, analysis, synthesis, and originality. I don't want to go back there. Grade 12, this is a message for you. Oh, it's Mr. Bosser from Peakview. I hope to see you too, Mr. Bosser from Peakview. I got a message from Mr. Adams that says, my student Fakir says he enjoyed the lesson so much. I am glad, Fakir, that you enjoyed the lesson. Yes. I am only a teacher, hoping to come through to you and to help you during this time as well. And so I'm glad that you enjoyed the PowerPoint and the lesson. Grade 12, this is what I want to say to you. If you're not willing to learn, no one can help you. If you're not willing to learn, nobody can help you. Thanks for the awesome lessons from the students of Gardendale. Thank you, Gardendale. Oh, there I finally know what GRD is. It's Gardendale. Thank you so much, Mr. February. And if you're determined to learn, no one can stop you. The fact that you are at school during level 4 adjusted restrictions, the fact that you are here and you've been here at school, I mean, for you to be at school at 8:30, you needed to be up at, some people's up at 5, 6 already. 5 to 6 already this morning. Some had to travel to school. You had to go through COVID screening to be at school. Your teachers were there on time. I was busy with this PowerPoint, so after 12 last night, I got up at 4 this morning to check that everything is done. So all of us, me, you, the learners, we put in a lot of effort to make this work. And that is why I say you're determined to learn. No one can stop you. Your teachers made a commitment to be there today at school. Your teachers are putting in the extra hours. Tanya, highly appreciated from Tanya Cooley. Oh, thank you so much for the session. So much love from Mount View High. Thank you. You are making my day. Yes, all the time and the effort that went into this. Much love from me to you as well. I'm even forgetting to move my slide. Thank you from Kensington Hazelbury. Thank you. And once again from myself, a special thanks to the React technical team. I told you earlier about it, the work that's going into the background. I just want to thank them. And thank you from Kroonfly, great listeners. Let's see if I lost my one screen over there. Thank you so much. Let me just see. I'm not sure what happened to my screen, and if you can see me. If you can hear me, I think in the last few seconds, I'm losing my screen. My screen just disappeared, but for the schools that's still in the house, thank you. I don't know, my screen had just disappeared on the last second, ma'am. You know, the messages came flooding through. Oh, thank you. Let me just take the opportunity and just thank all the teachers again. You've been amazing. Thank you to Mrs. Fozia Peters for designing the content for us. I appreciate that. And to all the grade 12s out there, you've been awesome. Thanks for participating. Thank you for the teachers. The session was interactive. I must say I am very excited and very grateful to the people that's actually putting a comment on the page. It is absolutely heartwarming to see the comments coming through, because it is, I'm sitting alone in studio, so it's nice to know that I'm engaging with people on the other side, so that's awesome. And to the teachers that are still in the venue, thank you very much. I still see Mr. Williams from Annenberg, hi, thank you. Harold Tracy, hi. Harper, hi. Phoenix, Vista, and all those schools. You've been absolutely awesome. Grade 12, just as a final message to you, keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on during this difficult time. I ask you to take the question paper, work out paper 1 and paper 2. You are next week at home. You have the time to do it. So please, for next week, work through the memo. There where you are struggling or you're not coping, liaise with your teachers. Ask, ma'am, when you go back to school, I didn't understand the compound interest. I didn't quite understand insurance. Why wasn't this possible answer? And you do that when you go back to school. Grade 12s, I need you to take care, stay safe. I know that it it is a difficult and a challenging time for you, and as well to my colleagues out there. We are all worried, are we going to get the curriculum done? Will we get it done in time? Will we be safe going back to school? So we're all in this together, we're all worried, we're very concerned, but together we are going to help each other and support each other through the process. Grade 12, remember your greatest resource is your teacher in the class. Your teacher is there to help you, to guide you, to advise you. Please work with us when we ask you to go a bit further with us. And so for me, it's been an absolute pleasure to be here today. Thank you very much for being at school and participating with me, and I'm just so grateful to everybody out there, the Grade 12s, the REACT team, WCD, and everybody for making today happen. Good afternoon. Thank you.